Gen X women solopreneurs are some of the most stressed people on the planet. We're rebuilding after crisis, running a business alone, often sandwiched between taking care of our kids and our aging parents at the same time. And we were raised to believe that asking for help is weakness. That's exactly why I'm excited to chat with Dr. Sara Love, because what she talks about in her naturopathic practice hits our trifecta directly: stress destroying the body, nature is medicine, and learning to accept help. I'm Kandas Rodarte. This is Gratitude Geek, the podcast for Gen X women solopreneurs weaving gratitude into your business strategy. Welcome, Sara.
Yes, thanks so much for having me.
What would you like the listener to know about you?
Yeah, so welcome, listeners. It's great to connect. And what I want folks to know is that we don't have to go it alone. That is one of the things, exactly what Candace said in the intro. We were raised, especially those of us who are eldest daughters, were raised to never accept help because that's a sign of weakness. It's bullshit. We all need help. We need our communities and we need to be able to trust one another. And we need to come up with mechanisms in place so that we can accept help and then also come up with stress management techniques. So there's kind of a lot of things going on. And when I'm working with people in my naturopathic practice, we talk about different ways that they can incorporate specifically break times, rest times, and how they can ask for help. Because a lot of times by the time they get to me, they should have asked for help ages ago. And it's like, okay, let's work on this. So I'm here to help and I'm here to give you guidance or support or simple tools.
Could you explain what naturopathic medicine is, please?
Absolutely. So it's a lot of different things. So basically, our philosophy is the healing power of nature. So that's kind of our tenet. And we go through rigorous postgraduate education, training similar to what you would consider medical school. We learn all the anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, pharmaceuticals. Plus, we also then learn all about nutrition, botanical medicine, different supplements, lifestyle medicine, exercise, diet. So, all of those different things. So, we have a huge, robust toolbox that we can use with our patients. Every state licenses us a little differently. So, in Oregon, I am actually considered a primary care physician, and I do act in that capacity in a lot of ways. So, I'm ordering labs, I'm ordering imaging, doing all of the things that you would expect. And then I can prescribe pharmaceuticals as needed, but in addition to all of the other different things that we're working on.
That's really interesting because in other states, that's not true.
Correct.
So it depends on where you live.
Yeah. And where you're licensed. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice if there was just a single licensing board so that if you go to a naturopathic doctor
Yeah.
in Oregon, you know
Mhm.
you're going to get the same care if you go to the same kind of doctor in Maine?
Anywhere. I know. It would be
Yeah, I
lovely.
just something. We could have a whole conversation about how screwed up the American medical system is, but
And then some.
that's a different podcast.
Yeah.
Today, let's focus on stress
Yeah. And gratitude.
and gratitude. So speaking of gratitude, how do you weave gratitude into your business strategy?
Yeah. So, I mean, really just incorporating gratitude and being thankful for different things is such a powerful mindset that is hard to start incorporating. But once you do, it can be such a game changer and then just changing your perspectives on things. So, even something as simple as, for example, somebody on social media was saying how expensive bicycles were. And I get it. Bicycles can be expensive. I'm a bike commuter as well. So I'm like, well, yeah, they can be expensive. And I'm like, but here's all the money I'm saving by not driving my car. So just kind of just changing perspective and being gratitude for the ability to be able to bike commute in the city that I live in and trying to come up with ways that, like I have to go for a walk today. No, I get to go for a walk today. It's so exciting that it's great outside. Even if it's raining, I get to go out and enjoy nature. So just kind of reframing things in terms of gratitude. So being able to do that in my businesses, especially my tea business, because that is just full of just joy. I mean, I created a business just to create joy essentially. So being grateful for this opportunity and being able to share all of that and all of my teas with people. I know it's so much fun. And experiencing that with them at the same time because my teas often have different flavors than they're used to. So experiencing new flavors for the first time is so much fun and joy.
recently I was speaking to Rachel Speckman on the show, and she shared her gratitude practice of every time she opens a door, she when her hand is on the doorknob, she says, "Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to do this work," or "Thank you for the opportunity to allow me to eat this food," or whatever room she's walking into. And when you were just speaking, I'm a metastatic cancer thriver, so I have chemo every 3 weeks for the rest of my life. And I think after this conversation with you and that conversation with her, every time I sit down in that infusion chair, I'm gonna say thank you for this life-giving serum.
Hmm. Yeah,
Because why look at it as something that I have to do when it's something that is preserving it's been working for 12 years, so,
amazing.
keep doing it,
Yeah.
right? Right? So
Yeah, and then
so
when they give you the heated blankets at the infusion center, it's just so cozy, and then get your tea.
Oh, yes. Yes. I wanna talk about your tea. I think because I'm a tea drinker. If you find the right kind of tea, it's in a whole experience in itself.
It
Like,
truly is.
somebody suggested that I make a what is that? Like an Instagram trainer suggested that I make an Instagram post about what I order at a coffee shop. And my post was basically, "Here's what you'll learn about me if we meet at a coffee shop. Number 1, I love coffee, but at a coffee shop, I order matcha."
Yeah, I get it.
Because it's an experience, right?
Mhm.
You can have coffee anywhere, but matcha well made, you
Well made,
can't have
yeah, it's
everywhere, you
true.
know? You can have poorly made matcha anywhere,
Not the
but
same.
well-made matcha,
Mhm.
whole 'nother story.
It is.
So, yeah, so what inspired you to do this tea business, and how does it go with your naturopathic medicine business?
Yeah, they go hand in hand. So, again, been naturopathic physician for 16 years now in Oregon, and really just in the last 5 years, folks are so stressed. There's been a huge push to work from home now, so folks are remote employees, and those folks that are remote employees, their schedules are insane, and they're not getting those natural office break times that we would have. So, I mean, I would be working with patients over and over and over, be like, "You've got to take a break. You've got to take a break." And then finally, kept hitting such resistance. And I'm like, why aren't you taking a break? And I wasn't being judgmental because I really just need to understand why folks were so resistant or unable to take their breaks. And they're like, because I have to do something. I'm like, okay, I can work with that. Again, huge amount of tools in my toolbox. So I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about doing a tea break because I didn't want them having caffeine because they were already so anxious. And then really taking a deep dive into what teas were commercially available on the shelf. And I'm like, well, I don't like these for so many reasons. They had ingredients that, where I live, ragweed allergies are huge. So chamomile is out for so many patients. A lot of my patients have GI problems, so peppermint's not going to work so well for them, for example. A lot of herbs have drug interactions that I didn't want to work with. And all of these teas that are commercially available had so many problems. They were fine, but they weren't what I wanted. So I'm like, well, time to make my own. So I created my own tea brand. And my first tea was Hug in a Mug. So that's where it all started.
What is the Hug in a Mug?
Hug in a Mug is my bestseller. It is what you would consider like a sleepy time tea, but it
Mm.
doesn't cause drowsiness. So it's a nettle, lavender, oat straw, and lemon balm. So it really is just nice, nourishing herbs that just kind of embrace you and give you that nice hug in a mug. And yeah, folks do use it to help sleep, but it won't cause drowsiness. So you can drink it.
So you have a very limited selection,
I
but
do.
all of your selections have a purpose.
Yes, they're all very intentionally created.
I love that. I have always thought that it would be cool to have a tea business, but sourcing the materials, the ingredients was daunting to me. So good for you.
Yeah. It can be a little daunting. We do have some good companies here in Oregon that I can source from, and they then do most of the hard work sourcing from all of these sustainably ethical farms around. So yeah,
Yeah.
it can be tough for sure.
Yeah. I love that you have created different sources of income for you because
Yes.
as a naturopathic doctor, you are a solopreneur. I mean, you may have some staff that works for you, but basically you are a solopreneur.
It's me. Yeah.
And I know that a lot of your patients are employees, and there's all that stress that goes with that, and then they don't take a break and yada yada yada. But do you know who else doesn't take a break?
Entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Solopreneurs.
It's so true.
So, one of the things that I admire about people from England is that they take their tea break.
Very seriously.
And and it is a very serious thing. I mean, they take a break. They fix their tea in a teapot, you know, with all the fixins. It is a thing. And it's done around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon because tea is kind of lunch for them, right? And it is a ritual that takes them away from their desk. So
When I worked in Scotland, let me tell you, we had scheduled tea breaks. Breaks they make you more productive.
Mhm. Yeah. Let's talk about aside from creating a tea ceremony or some sort of ritual that we do in the afternoon to get ourselves away from our desk. What are some of the other ways that a solopreneur can reduce their stress levels?
Honestly, with solopreneurs, we have to schedule it. We've got to schedule our break times, whether it's going outside for a walk, whether it's in between tasks. So if I've got my to-do list, on my to-do list is take a break. So just, I think that's important for us because like many of us, if it's not on our calendar or it's not scheduled, it's not going to happen just because we have to prioritize our time and be very strategic with how we use our time and our energy, especially. So, yes, I think that's my big thing is that's scheduled.
My friend Deb Erkeline, who I'll link to her episode in the show notes as well. She recently told me that she schedules in dance breaks on her calendar,
See, I love
and
it.
I've added a 30-minute dance break to my calendar at 1:30 every day. And I move it based on what else is going on that day, but, I just as long as it's there. And does that mean I get up and dance?
Right.
No, but
No,
it just means that I'm intentionally not at my desk. I'm intentionally doing something else. I also do a Pomodoro style co-working. Do you know what Pomodoro is?
no.
So, it's 25 minutes of work, 5 minutes of walking away from work, and then coming back and doing 25 minutes of work. So, we do it every Monday at noon Eastern. If you want to join, listener,
Yeah.
it's every Monday at noon Eastern. You can join. The links in the show notes. But we do 25 minutes of work, and then I set a timer, and the timer goes off. I go, "Okay, everybody walk away." I set timer for 5 minutes. We come back, we get back to work, and we do that 3 times. And everybody gets so much done because they're not I mean, by the time you're 45 minutes into working on a single project, and you're the one who knows this better than me, but you're at that point, you're
Yeah.
useless because
Mhm.
you're not functioning yourself.
It's absolutely true. Your brain really can only do so much, especially if you're staring at a screen, because these screens can be truly exhausting. They make our eyes work so hard. I mean, even with the blue light filters, which both of us clearly have, it can still be just exhausting. And it's another reason why hugging a mug exists is just to just kind of help that out and make us relax because it is so exhausting. And people don't realize how exhausting it is to be sitting down. They're like, oh, I'm just sitting down. It's like, all that concentration takes up lots of energy, takes lots of work. And if you don't step away, look at something else, like I've got my little tree picture in the back, even that's helpful. Just look at something at a different perspective, look at nature, that you've got to have that break. Otherwise, you're not going to be productive. And like you said, it's like you're going to be more productive if you've got those break times in because we have to have them. Our bodies just won't function otherwise.
Sometimes I just in this when it's snowing. I mean, I live in Michigan, so you know, we could have 24 inches of snow. I mean, it's rare, but we could. But even on those really snowy days, I'll just throw open my window and stick my head out the window and just breathe in the air. Just to get some outside,
Yeah, you have
you
to.
know? It you just because that little all it takes is a few minutes and you've reset. It's a reset. Well, let's talk about nature as medicine. What do you mean by that?
Right. So, a lot of different things. I mean, really, just fresh air is so healing. Just taking those deep breaths outside, getting our lungs full of that clean, fresh air is great. Being in and around the trees, taking nice, slow, purposeful, or just not purposeful, just going outside and just being amongst trees is healing. And all of the different ways. Movement is healing. So, that's just kind of another form of nature. Eating nice, foods from the ground, especially if you can get them from farmers market, which not everybody can, but just food that was lovingly grown by local people is always healing as well. Just there's so many different ways that you can do that. And what I like to talk about it as some people will say common sense medicine. I call it like stupid simple medicine because going for a walk can be just as healing as a lot of other things. And especially if you're talking about like blood pressure or stress management or depression, just moving can be so healing. Not to negate medicine's purpose in this because absolutely, I mean, you've been healed with modern medicine. Modern medicine absolutely has its place, but I think we need to also incorporate as many of the natural things like going outside, moving, eating fruits and vegetables, just yeah, basic stuff.
My prediction is that 50 or 100 years into the future, that's what medicine will be,
I hope so.
a melding of both, because
Mhm.
I see us going in the right direction. Right now, again, this is not a political podcast, so I don't wanna go too far off the path, but as someone who's living it, right now, insurance companies dictate everything, right?
They do. Mhm.
If insurance wasn't involved and things were more affordable because insurance companies make them less affordable, people like me would be getting acupuncture and massage and all that because all of that is complimentary.
Mhm.
You know, I can't tell you how helpful acupuncture was when I was going through the chemo that, the chemo that could kill you. You know, I would just go in and get my needles put in there and sit there in the nice warm room for an hour with my little needles relaxing and meditating or whatever it was that I needed to get me through. And it really, I mean, uh, I don't know if it really worked. I just know it worked. If
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's amazing.
It
Mhm.
just made me feel better. I never once vomited through
It's
that whole
amazing.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it was because Allison was putting needles in the places that to prevent
Mhm.
me from vomiting, but she was also doing things to help me relax and lower pain and it was just and also forcing me to relax. You know,
Acupuncture will do
it
that.
was yeah, because you can't really do anything when you have needles all
No,
over
you
you.
cannot.
You can't really move. So you have to be relaxed. But yeah, I mean, I really wish that opportunity was available to every cancer patient because it was
Mhm.
so helpful for me. But it's not because cancer is expensive, and
Mhm.
once you're in treatment, you really can't afford to pay for those things that aren't covered by insurance.
No, it's so hard. I know.
You know, you know, and let's just talk about the beauty of farmers markets. 'Cause I know that's in your wheelhouse. Our farmer's market has, like, 2 or 3 people who do mushrooms, like, grow your own mushrooms. They sell the mushrooms, and then they sell the kits, and we've got several people who, do, microgreens, and they have
Mhm.
your own they'll sell
Yeah.
you the kit so you can grow your own, and they'll sell you the microgreens, and it is the 2nd largest farmer's market in Michigan, so it's a very large market. In the summertime, there'll be 20,000 people to go through in a weekend.
It's amazing.
It's very wonderful. Depending on the season, some seasons,
Obviously, yeah.
yeah, but, it's just even in the winter, because the farmer's
Mhm.
market's indoor, it goes indoors in the
Okay.
winter,
Ours stays
you can
outside year round, but yeah.
well, you're in Oregon, but
I know.
you can still get mushrooms
Mhm.
and, um, why is it come so hard for me to say this word today? Microgreens
Microgreens.
every week and have those 2
Mhm.
nutrient
Very
dense
nutrient dense. Yeah.
foods available to you that you can either grow yourself in your own home or you can have the farmer grow them for you. So, if you have the ability to go to a farmer's market, please do.
Yeah. Meet your
Please do.
farmers. They're amazing people and they put so much love into their craft and their food tastes so amazing for it.
And they love teaching you and
Mhm.
helping you.
Yeah.
They love to talk about what they do. So, speaking of help, let's talk about the 3rd thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and that is learning to accept help.
Yeah, it's hard, right? Because like you said, there's we grow up not doing that and then it's like, "Oh, but it's okay. We can do this." Yeah, and just I mean, fi I guess finding the right people to ask for help too can also be a challenge because especially when we're talking about healthcare, there's so much medical gaslighting, especially for women, and finding someone who is going to be non-judgmental, who is going to listen to you, who is going to take you seriously. But people are out there. So don't let somebody's bad negative story impact you. There are good doctors out there. There are good helpers out there. There are people who really do want you to succeed. It's just a matter of finding them and embracing them when you find them. Yeah. And then help. It's amazing. Yeah.
And it's not just in terms of medical that it's okay to, I mean, it's okay to ask for help,
Hmm.
period. If you don't
Yeah.
know how to do something, ask someone who does know how to do something. Instead of trying to figure it out, just ask somebody. That's the thing, the lovely thing about, there's so many coaches out there, right? You know, there is a overabundance of people who call themselves a coach.
Hmm.
I'm moving away from calling myself a coach. I'm more of a community builder, so what I've built is a community for women solopreneurs over 40 who've had something crappy happen to them. I build a community, and within that community, we do for business growth strategy. But I don't call I'm not calling myself a coach because I don't that word is overused and it's
Hmm.
the definition's been diluted. But there are many, many people out there who want to help you. It's what you said earlier. Finding the right alignment, finding the person who can answer the question that that you wanna ask. Any other strategies?
I mean, really, it's like I said, it's such trial and error. And I mean, I'm spoiled here in Portland and having a tea business, and we've got a huge craft beverage scene. It's taken me a lot to get used to accepting help because in healthcare, it's a different industry, and accept asking and accepting help are it's different. But in this consumer packaged goods market here, especially where I live, it's ridiculous how much help is out there, and it takes me by surprise every day, and I'm so grateful for it because it is phenomenal. And then just realizing that, it's kind of like, the drop of water just keeps expanding, and then it's like, "Oh," and then I'm having asking people for help, and then asking, folks like, "How can I help you?" It's really been a great community and trying to find that, but you have to find that community for yourself, but they're out there, I promise.
Yeah, and my magic superpower is community building.
Mhm.
I was just thinking about, um, we were my I had this we have this little crocheted snake that our cats love playing with, and my daughter asked me last night, she goes, "Where did this come from?" And I said, "Well, I had a event that I did many, many years ago, like 20 years ago, and one of the vendors was selling this and I bought it from her." And then I went, I'm really good at creating events and bringing people together. That's my superpower. I haven't been doing it as much lately, so I'm trying to figure out how to do it better, how to do it more because
Yeah.
since the pandemic I haven't really used my superpower as well as I used to. A lot of it has to do with the fact that I don't live in the same place anymore, so I don't have the same network, but I still have the ability to bring people together. Like, if there's somebody that you wanna meet, Sarah, if there's someone you, Sarah, wanna meet, and you tell me who that person is, I can probably figure out how to get you an introduction. I'm
Yay.
really good at that. I know
Yeah,
everybody.
that's
You
awesome.
know? And I know how to bring people together. So, yeah, I'm audience, if you're listening and you were a longtime listener and you wanna know what's happening next, you need to keep listening. 'Cause something wonderful is about to happen here.
Yay.
You know? Alright, learning to accept help. So, asking for help is one thing, but accepting help is another.
Yep, absolutely. You have to accept help. And, and sometimes that's going to be hearing things you don't necessarily want to hear, but you need to be open to that feedback and accept it for what it is. And that can be hard.
Strategies for doing that.
Oh, just practice.
Everything takes practice.
I mean, seriously, takes a lot of practicing. I mean, I think the thing is if you are asking for help and they are giving you help that maybe you don't want to hear, just understand that their intentions are most likely in your best interest and they want you to succeed. So you should definitely listen to it. Whether or not you agree with it isn't the point. That's just kind of part of the process.
What about unsolicited help? I mean,
I
this is an
ignore that.
issue.
No, it
There
is an
wha
issue.
So sometimes they're doing, unsolicited help almost always comes from a place of wanting to be helpful, but it's unsolicited, meaning we didn't ask for your opinion or your assistance. So
Yeah.
how do you, I mean, because sometimes the help might be something we need to pay attention to.
I'm just to the point where I just don't wanna hear it. I mean, I'll be honest.
It's because we're Gen X and we don't care.
Well,
We've
and
run out
it's
of Fs. We've run
well,
out of
there's that.
Fs.
We definitely have that. But I also have enough experience. And even though the tea business is a new industry, I still have enough experience in owning a business and doing things and talking because I've got tons of experience in talking with people and working with people. So I have a pretty educated sense of what I need. And if it comes to unsolicited help, sometimes, I mean, I'll take it for what it is. And if it's worthwhile, great. If not, I mean, because sometimes I'm like, what are you? And a lot of times I have to think about where they're coming from. And if it's in my industry or closely industry adjacent, I'm going to be a lot more receptive than if it's somebody in AI or tech, which is not industry adjacent or anything. And I'm like, well, what? Because if they're a lot of times they're giving me things that are not kosher or not allowed because I have a lot more regulations that I have to follow. I've got a lot of licensure I've got to follow. I've got all my permitting. So dealing with that. Sorry.
Yeah. And as a doctor, you have to, when you recommend something, you're putting your practice on the line.
Exactly. So then I've got to thread that needle. And most people offering unsolicited advice don't appreciate that because they're not in my industries at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really tough, and the as a cancer patient, the number of people who would tell me, "Oh, just go
Hmm.
get coffee enemas," or
Yeah.
"You I just heard about this guy, Chris, he cured cancer." No, ladies and gentlemen, somebody tells you that Chris cured cancer, he did not.
No, he did not.
He had traditional medicine. It is false advertising.
Hmm.
Don't share his link with anybody who's going through cancer treatment.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. I think cancer patients get it the worst because it's so
Oh,
scary. Oh my God. I
well,
can't even
the
imagine.
coffee enema thing though, and then lately it's the horse dewormer. The number of
The
people who
ivermectin.
send me the horse dewormer. It's you're a naturopath and you just laughed at that.
I hear it all the time. And I'm like, no, I know I get people like, do you prescribe that? I'm like, no. I mean, I grew up on a farm with horses. Yes, I've used it in my life on the horse. I'm not
To
using it
for
on people.
worms,
Yeah.
for worms, yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, just the unsolicited advice that you get when you're going through cancer treatment it's really hilarious. The thing, the
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you've got to just laugh, I'm sure, because it's ridiculous. Like, come on.
when I was first diagnosed with cancer, I was given this book by Kelly Turner called Radical Remission. Have you
Hmm.
read it?
I have not.
In the it's got some really practical factors that can help you overcome cancer or whatever. I mean, I'm not going to say cure cancer because it's so subjective. But it talks about nutrition, it talks about oxygen, it talks about a lot of different things. Like going outside and breathing the outside air is one of the things it talks about in this book. So, I mean, you are totally in alignment. Let's just circle this back to just back to stress. For the solopreneur woman listening right now who's been through divorce, she lost her spouse, her business failed and she's trying to rebuild it. She had a
All the things.
bankruptcy, all the things, whatever it is. She's taking care of her mother and her daughter at the same time. What are the top 3 things that a person can do that are cheap and easy to reduce stress?
Um, my non-negotiables are definitely taking a break, an actual break, no screens, taking a break, preferably getting outside for 30 minutes a day. You don't have to move, but you have to get outside. That's number 1. Number 2 is sleep hygiene. So going to bed at the same time every night and doing whatever routine that you need to do for that. And then my number 3 is make sure you take your vitamin D. We both live pretty far north. Vitamin D is my other non-negotiable.
Yeah, I take a lot more than the bottle says to take
As you should.
throughout the day too. So let's talk about sleep. Now, I disclosed to you, but I did not disclose to the listener that I had 45 minutes of sleep last night because I have a wound, a painful wound, and it was just really uncomfortable to lay down. I could not get comfortable last night. I even got up in the middle of the night, took Advil. Pain went down, but I still can get comfortable. I got 45 minutes of sleep. You know, that is I'll make up for it later. I'll figure it out later. But sleep is a real issue for women, especially
Mhm.
women perimenopausal,
Yeah.
menopausal.
Mhm.
Sleep is hard. So how do we get more sleep? How do we get good sleep?
Yeah. So there are tricks. And what I recommend is finding a provider who is very well versed in perimenopause and hormonal changes, because there are some medications and supplements that you can do to help that, in addition to that, don't require like sleep medicine. But then there's always, making sure you're getting exercise. Strength training can also help with sleep. The sleep hygiene, your bedtime routine definitely helps. Turn Like I said, I told you earlier, I cut off my answering emails at 6 p.m. so I don't answer anything after 6 p.m. Doing whatever it takes to get you into that place to prepare for sleep. Obviously, I I often prescribe medications and do different hormone therapies for folks to help and do different supplements. There's a lot of different things that you can do, but the big ones are making sure you're trying to exercise, coming up with some sort of routine at bedtime, and no screens, no doom scrolling. It's too easy.
Mm,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, doom scrolling these days will keep you up.
All night.
You'll never be able to sleep
I
ever.
know.
In the few minutes that we have left, let's talk about your tea business
Yes.
and the how different that is from your naturopathic
Mhm.
medicine practice. And I mean, because your tea business is a solopreneur business. I mean, you have your team, but talk about how you came up with the idea, launched it, and how you deliver the product.
I came up with the idea again as just a nice active mechanism to encourage people to take breaks during the day because they were so resistant and unable to take breaks. So that's how I came up with the idea. I started with my Hug in a Mug, which is my nice, relaxing tea to get through the day, and then branched out into more intentionally derived teas, thinking inspired by different patients that I would see. It would come up into different buckets, like the stressed out patient. You see my stress no more. I've got a tea concoction that I love for like 3 p.m. slumps that's a caffeine free. So just trying to come up with that. All of my teas are caffeine free by design. I don't want to have any caffeine in them because I want people to enjoy them, but I want people to make the teas as part of a necessary daily activity, really to promote stress management and relaxation and just increase productivity. Solopreneurs, I mean, we live in a capitalist society, whether you like that or not, but that's just where we live. So we need to figure out how to best align our bodies and be able to be productive in that system. So that's kind of where I'm.
I belong to a group called Feminist Podcast Casters Collective, and in that group, I'm one of the older women in the group. I'm not the oldest, but I'm one of the older women in the group, and which is really strange for me because I'm only 56. But I'm Gen X, though. I mean, I am so entrenched in Gen X culture. I mean, you can't, there's just sometimes they say things. I'm like, I don't even know what you just said, you know.
Not
But
computing at all.
but but what I'm saying, oh, and there's an undercurrent of anti-capitalism in that group. And I keep saying, but I am a capitalist because
Hmm.
I am. I am not an oligarchist and I am not a corptocracy.
Hmm.
I'm not, no, not, I'm a capitalist, which is a
Yep.
different thing. Free trade, free market.
Hmm.
I want to own my own business. I'm a capitalist. And regardless of whether or not they know it or not, every single one of those business owners in that group is also a capitalist.
Absolutely.
So we need to get our definitions correct.
Yeah.
So speaking of capitalism, as a true capitalist, I always love a
Yes,
good discount, and you have a discount for
I
the Gratitude
do.
Geek listener.
Hmm.
It's 25% off your purchases from, is it Lichen and Leaf?
Yeah, Lichen and Leaf. And then the website is lichenleaf.com.
And it's lichenleaf.com. So 25% off. There are some great tea mixers in there. I am absolutely going to be using my coupon code because I got my eye on a bag of chai. So, what forms of payment do you accept?
On the website, Google Pay, Apple Pay, and all major credit cards.
Okay, cool, groovy. And you also have a newsletter. In your newsletter, do you just talk about tea or do you cover
No,
other things?
It's a very infrequent newsletter, but I do tea. I do recipe ideas because my teas can be mixed in all sorts of fun ways. And I also try to do a little learning session with those. So I talk about different ingredients. For instance, like you mentioned the chai. Well, one thing that makes my chai different, in addition to being caffeine free, is I use a long pepper. So it's not a peppercorn. It's a long pepper. So it's a little
Oh,
different. It's a little milder, smokier flavor. So it's a lot of fun. So I do some education there.
I was going to ask you about that because I will often put black pepper in my
Hmm.
chai
Yeah.
because it just doesn't have enough spice if you get it
Yeah.
from over the counter.
Correct.
And it's not even an ingredient on many of the grocery store
It's
aisle
not,
chais.
and I think you
And the
need it.
black pepper is what makes the flavor. So I'm looking forward to trying that. That's going in the shopping cart.
Yeah, and the other thing is I do small batch, so then I grind the spices just before I package, so they're super fresh.
And they're vacuum sealed so that they'll stay fresh. Do you sell at a farmer's market?
I do. I was
You d
at our local farmers market last week, and then I sell at different markets around town.
So people who sell at markets have to have a special license. So it's extra special. Extra special. I mean, farmers market people have a whole bunch of classes that they have to take and all sorts of stuff to be able to sell their products. So I love that because I know I'm getting super fresh and everything's above board because they don't want to lose their ability to sell. Because
Is correct.
yeah, whereas there is a certain ice cream company that's in Texas that killed people and still got away with it.
Yeah,
So the corporations can get away with stuff, the farmers market vendors can't.
but we cannot.
All right. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you're dying to talk about?
No, it's been a great conversation.
It has. We went in a lot of different directions,
Yeah,
but we had
those
a
are the
lot to
most
talk
fun.
about. We had a lot to talk about.
We
It was a
did.
trifecta.
It
We had a
was.
trifecta. We had 3 different things to cover. We covered them very well, and then some. All right, Dr. Sara Love, this is your moment of gratitude. For whom or what are you most grateful?
Right now, gosh, I mean, there's so many things to be grateful for, right? But right now, I really am grateful for the local business community here in Oregon. It has been truly phenomenal in the support I've had in growing my tea business. And if you look at my Instagram, I had a post yesterday about how grateful I was for my local chamber of commerce. But just, we've got so many great resources here. Asking for help has never been easier, and accepting help has never been more fun. That's what I'm grateful for today.
Thanks for tuning in to Gratitude Geek, the podcast for, I was going to say groovy. I was going to say groovy solopreneur. You know what? I'm
Absolutely.
keeping that.
You should.
Groovy solopreneur women over 40 who weave gratitude into their business strategy. To connect with Dr. Sara Love, be sure to look in the show notes. All of her links are below. Our theme music is by Rev Brock and Soul Lily. I've been your host, Kandas Rodarte. Stay groovy, my friends.
Stay groovy, my friends.